Okay. So my name is Isaac Kurtz, and today I will be interviewing attorney Michael Rossi from Gennari and Seacrest. How are you doing today?
All right, Isaac, yourself? Good to see you.
Pretty good.
All right.
So the first question is just tell me a little bit about yourself, like personally, just who you are.
Well, I was born and raised here in Warren, Ohio. I went away to college. I went away to law school, and I came back to Warren, Ohio. In the meantime, I married and had 4 children.
Okay.
And the first of the 4 is adopted because we couldn't have any children. And then we had 3 in a row. So that's what happened there. And I just went to work. I started work here in 1975, right after I passed the bar exam. I've been here ever since. So
Cool.
it's a while.
So
It's the general practice of law. I'll do anything except bankruptcy, workers' comp, and domestic.
why is that?
Hmm?
Why is that?
Those 3 areas don't interest me.
Okay.
The whole rest of the mess does.
Yeah. Okay. So what inspired you to become an attorney?
I think I was in love. I always wanted to be a school teacher or a college professor.
Yeah.
And it was to the point where I was thinking about trying to get engaged. And so I had a discussion with my father-in-law. He says, well, what do you want to do with yourself? I said, well, I was thinking of being a school teacher. He says, school teachers don't make any money. I said, oh, how about a lawyer? He says, okay, so that's how that happened.
Okay. How many cases would you say you take on annually, give or take?
Annually.
If there is like a constant.
I would say 50 or 60 projects annually.
Okay.
That would be what, 5 or 6 a month? Something? Yeah.
Okay. And like if you're able to, could you tell me maybe a little bit about one of the worst cases you've ever worked on? Like without necessarily getting into specifics. So I know like confidentiality is a thing.
The worst case I ever worked on was a case I should have won,
Mm.
and should have won big. And if you ask any law student about the facts of the case, they will tell you that I should have won and should have won big. And that was what we call a reverse discrimination case against General Motors at Lordstown, then Packard Electric, Delphi, around here. And of course, it was a class action, so it would be all the General Motors employees throughout North America.
Yeah.
And the nature of the case was reverse discrimination, and basically white males were being discriminated against in the skilled trades occupations or skilled trades of those GM corporations. And it's all about affirmative action. And affirmative action has certain rules and regulations that you have to go by, and the chief rule is that you don't discriminate on the basis of race, regardless of what color. You don't discriminate unless there's a disproportionate amount of that race
Yeah.
in the workforce compared to the local workforce in the plant. So let's say you have 20% of the workforce is women. It's racial and gender discrimination. Let's
Yeah.
say that 20% of the local workforce is women. Well, you don't discriminate in favor of women at the plant in that local workforce unless they're underrepresented to begin with.
Yeah.
If 14% fine, have affirmative action. 16% fine. But if there's 25% women in the plant, you don't discriminate. Well, they did.
Yeah.
And I lost every step of the way. And that's the worst case I've ever had.
Huh.
It went on for 17 years.
Wow.
At all levels. State court, federal court, federal court of appeals in Cincinnati, United States Supreme Court. I never got in. I tried to get in, but I couldn't get into the United States Supreme Court. That's the worst that's ever. I never made 5 cents on that case.
Ooh, ouch. Going off of that, what would you say are some difficulties of being an attorney?
One of the difficulties is what I call client control.
Okay.
That is when you have a client who believes that they know more about what you're doing than you do. So they try to be helpful, they make suggestions.
Yeah.
They start telling you what to do. Well, a long time ago, this old judge once said, if the doctor says take the blue pills, you don't take the red pills.
Yeah.
And one of the difficulties is trying to explain to a client why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, it would be nice if they just let me do what I do.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I take time, I'm serious about cases, you know, and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And it's annoying for someone to go to the internet and say, you should be doing this. You know, this law really says that.
Yeah.
I have that every day. That's one of the difficulties of being an attorney.
Yeah.
Anything else? I can't think of anything. You know, I might talk about judges or something, but that's personalities. That goes in any occupation or profession.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get along with certain guys, you know.
Yeah. I
So.
understand that. I have a couple people.
But
in my
I
job like
think
that.
the client knowing more than you do or seeming to is probably my biggest pet peeve.
Okay.
All right.
And if you're able to, could you tell me about the best case you've ever worked on? The most positive.
Well, I sued the local school board many years ago for adopting a history book that was antithetical to my client's religion.
Okay.
It was a history book adopted by the public school, and, you know, there's the First Amendment, the free exercise of your religion and not to have an establishment of religion.
Yeah.
And we took the school board to trial, and we even had the author of the textbook on the witness stand,
Yeah.
and it was a very it was a big deal around town.
Yeah.
It was a big deal because it was pitting the local school authorities against the parents, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that was very gratifying for, lost the case,
Yeah.
but made a lot of waves. Made a lot of waves, made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And then there was a local church that was getting split up, and I represented one faction against the other faction, That I think was 1991. And another decent case I had was, there was a local police captain who owned a bar in town.
Yeah.
And when he wasn't being a police captain, he ran his bar.
Yeah.
And my client went in there one night with a friend of his, and the friend was kind of drunk and was being sort of obnoxious. Well, the police captain didn't like it, obviously. He was making a disturbance. And actually, he pulled a gun out, ended up shooting my client in the stomach. My client wasn't even the guy that was the trouble.
Yeah.
Shot him in the stomach, and of course it's, you know, alcohol, bar, gun, that sort of thing. So it put all those things together. Now that's one I won.
Yeah.
I won pretty well on that one.
Good. I hope so with that one. So, in your opinion, what are some of the best things about being an attorney? Or maybe things that
There's,
you enjoy?
it's challenging because almost every case presents a new issue. And then you say to yourself, well, how should this end up? Then you're in the library, you know, researching.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that it's challenging, it's complicated. I kind of like that. It's not something you do over and over and over again. You know,
Yeah.
like if you're a bank teller, you make change. You know, and that wouldn't appeal to me. Not that there's anything wrong with being a bank teller. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Other than that, well, it's pretty decent money.
Yeah.
You know, there's that. There's people always asking you for your advice, free or not. It sort of makes you feel like you're important, that
Yeah.
someone else is asking you for your opinion. So that's an ego thing.
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
All right. And do you have any advice you might give to students or anyone looking to become an attorney in the future?
Yes,
Okay.
study, study, study. Make sure you take your core classes in college, and do not get into pre-law in college. The law schools want a well-rounded, take music, take history, take Latin, take calculus. You take the liberal education. You take a liberal education across the board, and that's who the law schools select. You want to have a good liberal arts education going into law school.
Okay.
Law school is nothing more than, it's very demanding. Law school is very demanding
Yeah.
on time and on just sheer volume of cases and pages and reading and all of that. But basically, law school is 3 years, and by going through these various subjects, what they do is teach you how to think like a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's a way you think, it's a way you approach a problem. Now, I'm terrible mechanically. I mean, I don't know what's under the hood of a car. I change the light bulbs at my house, and that's about as far as I get. Um, But given a legal problem, there's a, I don't know if it's a matter of logic. I think it's logic. You teach, they make you think logically to a fault, I guess.
Okay.
And that's how we're all trained.
Yeah.
Then we go into various, some guys wanna become judges, some wanna go and work for the government. Some wanna work for business, some, you don't have to be a lawyer. But if you have a law degree and you're not a lawyer, that's a step up.
Yeah.
Because when you go out for job interview, when you got a law degree, you don't have to pass the bar.
Yeah.
If you have that law degree, it actually makes you more marketable as an employee, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right, Isaac.
It's been very interesting.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
Look
yeah.
forward to future conversations.
Great, can't wait.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna go back to